How long do you think they've been thinking of Splatoon and being squids and kids now?
Oh God, no! Get me out of that. Although I love the producer or the director that always presents Splatoon. He's a very funny
cool.
Man. I like how he's in character.
He's not just a dude, okay? He's director of Squid Research, okay? Announce him by his proper title, okay? He didn't go become a PhD to just be called the Squid Dude, okay? He's director of Squid Research, okay?
Yeah, always laying down.
And he dabs, okay? He dabs as well.
Love that, man.
We only got a little bit off topic.
Welcome to TRC Podcast, a video games podcast where we try to bring the past and present together through coverage of bi-weekly news and examinations of retro games. I'm one of your hosts, Tristan Jung.
I am the other host, Albert Corsten.
And welcome to episode 5, where it seems like I have finally got the intro down.
I don't know, you're like gasping for air a little bit. I was a little worried about you. You're like
pass out.
I know it's an exhilarating experience recording this podcast, so yeah. I can relate.
Can you hear the excitement in my voice right now? You can't. You can't.
I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it silent.
Yeah, so I mean, we talked about this before. It's pre-3 season.
Can you explain what pre-3 is?
Pre-3 is pre-E3. E3 is Electronic Entertainment Expo. I almost forgot that.
Good job.
So a lot of companies are trying to keep all their shit under lockdown. And it's kind of hard for us to do a bit of news around this time. But yeah, it's been kind of a quiet 2 weeks.
It's the calm before the storm.
It is. So first, we have a follow-up. We were chatting about how IO Interactive got sold from Square. And then this week, a lot of their engineers or game developers got laid off, which is always a sad story.
Especially because the last Hitman did pretty well. It did okay.
Yeah, it did okay. I have it. I think the only downside... Oh god, downside to that game was that it's 60 gigs. But other
is that really a downside?
I think that's a downside.
But a bigger game usually means... Okay, a bigger game doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. I'm looking at you, Final Fantasy 13.
Look at you, Doom. You're a fun game, but 80 gigs? Whew.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm not playing that one. So instead of, getting real gaming news, we got some semi-gaming news because it was actually really hard digging up stuff to talk about.
So it wasn't like little blurbs and stuff.
There were rumors swirling of a Mario and Rabbids crossover, Rabbids being from Ubisoft. And there was a picture that leaked, which was interesting to say the least.
It's got yo-yos and selfies in it, and laser beams.
And, like, cross-dressing rabbits?
I mean, it's 21st century, Tristan. We're in a new era here, man.
It's 2017, Tristan. Be a little bit...
It is also It is also that... I don't know what to think about this. It sounds interesting from the leaks, but then again, we have no... I mean, what do you make of it?
I mean, it's
game
very...
to like describe it to listeners.
From what it looks like, it's a little bit different than the Mario and Sonic crossover, where those are kind of based off of the Olympic Games, right?
Uh-huh.
But this one seems to be, I don't know. It almost looks like a mini game. Like the name is Mario like plus Rabbids.
I mean, there's like turn-based combat and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. How legitimate do you think this? I think it's pretty real. I think this is going to be released at E3. I think they're going to announce this at E3.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with them being releasing this game or announcing this game. I'm just worried that they're gonna start charging $60 for this, and it's gonna be a garbage game.
I mean, we already had one of those. We can go through another, right? Cough, cough, 1-2 switch. Sorry, that was a $50 game. Sorry, correction. We haven't had a $60 one yet.
But I'm just holding my breath. I'm probably not even gonna pick it up or pay attention to it.
So moving on, we're gonna split this kind of a little break in the game news. We're gonna split off into some movie news about video games. So our first one is the Uncharted movie. Will star Tom Holland from Spider-Man.
I'm actually really excited about this. So it seems like they changed up what the movie's gonna be about.
Yeah.
I think they were gonna focus on adult Drake, but then they changed it to kind of focus on his childhood, which is honestly my favorite part of Uncharted 3 and Uncharted 4.
Yeah. I feel like I'm still a little salty because I wanted Nathan Fillion to play Nathan Drake because he looks a lot like him in actual life. And I love him. And you should love him too because he's Canadian.
Yeah. No, I saw that news a long time ago, and I think that makes sense. But what is stopping them?
And he's like a geek guy. He's like a geek guy too. I bet he's even played Uncharted.
But what's stopping them from doing a sequel, right?
That's true, but then they wouldn't bring him into the role of Nathan Drake after they've already done Tom Holland.
No, so Tom Holland is definitely not playing adult Drake. That would
that's
work.
true. That's true.
So I'm pretty hopeful. Hopefully they don't fuck it up because Uncharted is like Sony's baby, and Naughty Dog's, I guess.
It's their system seller.
Yeah, and if they fuck up that movie, it's gonna be like the Super Mario movie all over again.
Did you ever see the World of Warcraft movie?
Oh, just Warcraft, you mean?
Or, well... Okay.
It's called Warcraft, sir?
Okay. I was talking about, like, World of Warcraft, like, the movie based off of World of Warcraft.
No, I didn't.
Did you see Warcraft?
My friend did, and he said it was really shitty, but he felt happy because he recognized some things.
That was my experience with it as well. It definitely wasn't, like, an amazing film, but... It was like fan service. That's about what it was. It was like, thanks for playing our game for like 12 years. Here's a movie.
Here's a movie. Give me $20.
You give me $20 exactly. Okay, so this is a report. It's not confirmed or anything, but Resident Evil is getting a reboot, and it could be the plans are maybe for 6 new films.
I don't understand this. Did you watch the quote-unquote original series?
Dude, I've seen one of them. I think it was... Oh, this was like mid-2000s. I mean, they're not even fan service. Like...
They have nothing to do with the games.
No, Extinction is the one I've seen, I think.
Ah, jeez. So
2007.
So my understanding was that they were like kind of in a hurry to finish this off because it was kind of making good money, but they don't want to drag it on forever. So they finished it last year with the final chapter.
Yep.
And then Capcom went and made a really, really good Resident Evil game, right? Resi 7 did really, really good. Yep. And then all of a sudden this is happening.
Guys, we're popular again.
Let's make another 6 movies.
I don't know who they're gonna get to direct these things, honestly, at some point.
I don't think the director even matters at this point.
These movies have always been... I almost wish they didn't come out because it almost gives a negative connotation towards video game movies.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll ever see a good video game movie
ever
for a while.
Uncharted?
I know J.J. Abrams is working with Valve on maybe a Valve movie, and I like him as a director, so I feel like he could do something cool with that, but... I mean, one has a famous director... Who directed the Assassin's Creed movie?
I have no idea, but it had fucking Michael Fassbender, and it still sucked.
Yeah, he was good in it, but it was still... He could not carry that movie. It was too heavy for him to carry. It was too fat. I heard a lot of people said it was kind of a disappointment. But let's not digress.
Yeah, did you know we're a video games podcast, guys?
Did you know that video games are not movies?
Yeah.
But they're sometimes movies.
And they're usually bad movies when they are.
Usually bad. Oh god.
Speaking of Ubisoft, our favorite developer, Far Cry 5 teaser came out. It's set in Montana this time. Seems to be you're a character in a white supremacist town.
Ooh.
Always interesting. I think it's fitting and topical. Although I don't think they meant for it to be like that.
Yeah. I think it's a cool setting, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it could take the story a lot of ways.
I also think it's a very good change from 3 and 4, where it was kind of like exotic, right?
I mean, and then there's Primal too.
Oh, okay. Let's forget about that one.
I bet you even forgot about that one.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that one existed. Have you played 3 and 4?
I've played 3. I have 4. Honestly, I'm most interested in the fact that 3 was like, oh, it's Voss and his big band of mercenaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 was
that dude in the pink suit.
Yeah, and he had his whole army because he was like the leader of the country. This one's like, there's no armies. I mean, it's maybe like the leader of a cult or some group of people, but like it's not like an army, right? Like, yeah, I think it should be. I like the setting, Montana. Interesting. You got some big sky country.
Yeah, I'm hoping they turn it towards a little bit more survival rather than shooting. Yeah,
it's either survival or like stealth.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they could do a lot of cool mechanics on that.
Speaking of shooters, I feel like we're still in this shooter era. We still haven't gotten sick of it.
Don't worry, we're going back. We're going back in time, though. Remember, we're going back to World War II and World War One, except for this one. This one's different.
Yes, Destiny 2. Everyone's excited about the PC release. Blah blah blah. And then Bungie came out and said they will not be using dedicated servers. But then today there was a blog post from Bungie where if you read the entire thing, it kind of sounded like they're using dedicated servers, but they don't call it dedicated servers.
Yeah, I feel like that's just to make us speculate, and they're not going to do anything with it. And honestly, I'm kind of bummed.
D1 did not have dedicated servers.
That's true. You played it. How was it?
It was okay. Mostly because, you know, console is kind of, quote-unquote, more stable than PCs at times, right?
Yeah.
So it was fine, but I'm slightly worried about Destiny 2, because, I mean, we've played Siege, right?
Yes. And
there's definitely a wide range of computer specs that people play with.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's going to work
Siege,
out.
Siege sometimes has minor issues even on dedicated servers, so...
Oh, well, Ubisoft servers are garbage. That's why.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, one thing, and kind of came up recently, we've been going into Borderlands the pre-sequel, and that doesn't have dedicated servers, and there are definitely times that there's major network issues when doing P2P.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in games like that have like raids and stuff, like Destiny, like a frustrating death due to latency issues will be... I will say if that game has any network problems when it releases, it will die pretty quickly.
But if they don't fix it quickly. D1 is still going strong. I mean, I'm not even worried about raids.
The PC community.
Oh,
I meant the PC community.
Yeah. Maybe I should just get on PS4 then. Fuck that.
Well, then we can't play together, my friend.
Well, I mean, I can... Oh, the police are here.
See, they know. They're like, you want to buy it for console and it's coming out for PC?
Either I play with you, or I can play with 10 other people on the PS4.
Or you can play with 10 people on the PC.
Yeah, and just be laggy all the time. I'm just worried about the Crucible, which is the PvP.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good point to bring up. Yeah, in terms of dedicated servers. So remember how we're that podcast on video games?
Yeah.
We sometimes talk about movies.
We only talk about video games.
Oh, okay. Well, now we talk about TV shows too.
Okay.
Specifically, Netflix has announced that they are adapting a TV show based on the Witcher series.
Oh.
Which has even the original, not the, why do I keep thinking the word director? The author?
Writer?
Is that correct? Yeah, the writer of the books will be working with them on it. And I think that could be freaking amazing of a show, if pulled off correctly.
That's a very big asterisk.
Yeah, because I think of like fantasy TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I mean, there's, like, Game of Thrones, but not stuff with, like... I mean, that show kind of has, like, a little bit of, like... There's, like, mystic stuff, but, like, not, like, magic. This game straight up has magic in it, right? Like, with your what are they called? Your signs and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, it'll be interesting how they pull that off, like, visually, and how they want to... If they want to make it, like, OP or realistic or however. They better choose a really cool guy to play Geralt. Anyways, the next one is Netflix is also doing a anime on Castlevania, which looks pretty cool. It's coming out July.
Okay, wait, pause. It looks pretty cool. The trailer's like 1 minute, and they show like maybe 2 scenes.
Dude, they showed a whip, man.
Okay.
It's Belmont time, okay? You know, like, it's Morphin time? No, it's Belmont time. He's gonna kill Dracula, okay?
Maybe I've just gotten too old, and I just can't get excited anymore. I just can't get it up.
There's medication for that, buddy. There's no medication for Castlevania, though. So, maybe this will finally convince me to steal Netflix from one of my friends and watch it.
Wow. Said that on public radio.
I meant steal as in, like, use their account.
Buy with my money.
Buy with my own money.
Yeah, that's...
And not
that's
use their account. I have very interesting definitions. Okay. We're switching gears again. This is another gear switch. But it's a familiar gear switch.
Yeah, it's not Gears of War.
Back to video games.
Yep.
And it's not Gears of War.
It's not Gears of War. So, to Counter-Strike fans... who have been waiting for an operation for like a very, very long time. Mostly because you want to collect those crates and sell them in a few years for $10 each.
You mean, no, let's be honest here. You sell them as soon as they come out and they sell for like $20.
Okay. We have
like
an
if you
expert
get on
here.
that patch in the first hour, you can sell them for like $20.
We have the real expert here. But
I'm the real expert.
Valve decided to finally release a new operation. This is they haven't had one since last year. Was it early last year?
It was early last year, I think.
Yeah. It's called Operation Hydra. They actually went all out with this. Like they have the usual weapon drops and cases, but they added a lot of like fun modes, which I've been kind of craving in CS:GO. Do you know what the fun modes are?
Me?
Yeah.
I know what the fun modes are. I'm most excited for Heavy Assault Suit, because that seems hilarious. And then the Flying Scotsman also seems hilarious. And to describe it, Heavy Assault Suit is you can purchase like a huge thing of body armor, like more than the normal body armor. And then the Flying Scotsman is low gravity scouts only.
It's Scoutsman.
Sorry, Scoutsman. Okay.
And I'm assuming everyone has a scout.
Yes. Side note. So the game brought the expansion brought in 6 maps, 3 from previous operations, 3 brand new ones.
I'm actually pretty glad Valve kind of came back with this. This is running for a very long time, right? It's until September.
Yeah,
and
18 weeks. 18, so more than September. This is running until October almost.
Oh, is it? Okay, and it's only $6. Like,
yep.
CS:GO team has been getting a lot of shit and flack for not doing anything, but I'm glad they actually added a lot of content. This is a lot. This is not just like 10 hats.
Yeah. 10 hats. There's no hats in CS:GO. It's knives, buddy.
I was referring to TF2. Guys, remember matchmaking?
Remember when that game used to got updated? I remember that. That was a good time.
Remember matchmaking update, guys?
I remember matchmaking update. That was a great update.
I think that wraps up the news for this episode. Are you ready?
I mean, I was born ready, so...
I only got one sound clip, because I think you might be able to get this from the date and the game ranking.
What?
Yeah.
The date and I don't know the date that well, man.
All right.
Unless it's something recent.
Here. I'll give you another hint. I'll give you an extra hint.
Okay, well, give me. We're now entering the retrospective, if you couldn't tell.
Yes.
Just making that clear.
If the past half was the collective, this is the retrospective.
This is the retrospective part.
And at the end, we have the.
We just do it in reverse order.
So, the past 5 episodes, I think we've only done Western games. So, I went to the other side of the world this week to get an Eastern game, to get some breadth in our podcast. I went
You went all the way over there?
Yeah, I went there, talked to people, brought back some research.
Okay. Well, lay it on me.
I'll lay it on you. Release date is November 21st, 1990.
Okay, so it's an early game. We're thinking like 90. That's SNES, I want to say. That era.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when PS1 came out.
Game ranking score, 94.
Okay, I have some ideas.
Okay, I'll let you drop 2 ideas.
Okay, I want to guess Super Metroid first.
Okay.
Yeah, Pokemon was way later. 96. Okay.
Okay, so you dropped your 2 ideas already.
So I dropped my 2 ideas.
Yeah, and they were both wrong.
Oh!
Yeah.
If I don't get this, it's gonna be sad.
So you fucked up real hard, son.
Drop me a clip.
I'll drop you a clip.
I'm so nervous every time this happens. Okay, so this is a game. Oh shit! I know what it is. Yoshi's not Yoshi's Story. Oh god, I don't know the name. Super Mario Yoshi.
Super Mario Yoshi.
No, I know it's not Super Mario Yoshi, but it has a super in it, I think. Does it have a super in it?
Does it have Yoshi in it?
Oh.
Well, obviously, yes. I just gave you a sound clip of Yoshi. It has Yoshi in the game.
Okay. Oh! I was thinking of the wrong game! Oh my god, it's Super Mario World.
Yes, it is.
I almost thought it was the Yoshi game where he goes, wah, wah, whatever that
Yoshi's Island.
Okay. Yoshi's Island.
I almost tricked you. God damn, I would have gotten away with it.
You almost tricked me. It's Super Mario World.
Yep. So Super Mario World is a game for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, developed by Nintendo EAD and published by Nintendo in November 21st, 1990 in Japan. It is a 2D platformer, and actually one of the launch titles for the SNES. Where do you want to start?
Where do you want to go? What first impressions? What do we want? What do we want here?
Yeah, let's do first impressions.
Let's do some first impressions. Okay, this game, the platforming feels perfect for a 2D platformer.
Mm-hmm.
It is perfect. Team Luigi, by the way, just to start that off.
Oh, what the fuck?
Always
Okay.
play Luigi.
Okay.
Higher jumps is what it's all about. The sound design, the music in this game is great. The visuals are great. The difficulty is perfect, and my favorite thing about the game are the secrets in this game.
Oh.
Except for ghost houses. Fuck ghost houses. They deserve to die.
Actually, fuck Star Road. I hate Star Road.
Star Road was great, okay? That is the best part about this game, is Star Road, and then, what are they called? Secret levels?
Yeah. Secret, like the 8
like
levels.
Tubi and Groovy and...
Yeah. Tubular.
And, yeah, those ones. They're like the weird highlight of this game for me. Like, those are the one thing I remember the most about this game is as a kid trying to get those things. yeah, those are some first thoughts for you. What are your first thoughts?
My first thoughts. So I grew up a Sonic kid, believe it or not.
Get out.
And I actually never played this game until, I would say, 99, 98.
Mm-hmm.
But I fell in love with it right away. It's a lot slower than Sonic. It doesn't look as cool as Sonic.
That is some personal opinion, sir.
But like Albert said, platforming's top notch. You can actually see what's happening. I think that was the problem with Sonic. And I mean, it's like super well rounded. Everything is polished. Get those 96 exits. Get Star World. It just feels really good. And I think now that I'm older and played both of them for a very long time, I prefer Super Mario World over Sonic 1 and Sonic 2.
Ooh.
And even Mega Man. And you know how much I love Mega Man.
Oh my god. But what about Final Fantasy VI? No, we won't go there.
That's not a platformer, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Compare this to the other Mario games. I've played the 2D platformers before, so 1, 2, and 3, right? Is mainly
which
the
2?
Original...
Like the real 2 or the US 2?
Oh, that's the US 2, I would have to say then.
Okay.
And then Super Mario World 3. This to me is the best. I like the visual. The visuals are my favorite, first of all. Like the cartoony kind of the sprites are really good in this game.
Yep.
I just want to put a shout out there before I go too far of all the fallen Yoshis in the world that had to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. My favorite thing about this game was the cape power-up. I loved the cape.
Do you like it more than the Tanuki suit?
I like it more than the Tanuki suit, by far.
Why? I don't understand. Tanuki suit and cape feather are very, very similar.
But you can fly with the cape.
Oh, the left, right, left, right.
The left, right, yes.
I fucked that up. I could never get that when I was a kid.
And this game, you could fly above the stage, and then you'd have to turn the volume up, and then you hear, above, and you knew you were flying high. Yeah. And there were some secret levels where you had to fly over the goalpost at the end to get the secret. So you had to use it. What other power? There was the fire, there was the... What's the Tanuki? There was no Tanuki suit in this game.
No, it was the mushroom,
and that made
the
sense. That made sense.
The cape feather.
Yeah, that made sense because there would be no reason for a Tanuki suit when you have a cape as well in the game.
I mean, there's also Yoshi, right? And if you ate different enemies, then he had different powers. Like, you can get a flying Yoshi.
And then there was the colored Yoshis, which would always do the same ability. Mm-hmm. So there was the blue Yoshi, which was my favorite because he always had the wings.
I mean, I have 4 major points here. I have development, gameplay, story, and legacy. Where should we start?
Story. There's a story to this game? There's a Mario game with a story?
Where do you want to start?
All I know is you go around stomping down castles.
Oh my god, buddy. There's an intricate story in Super Mario World.
There is an intro level, I do remember. I do not remember the story, though.
Okay, so you want to hear it?
Lay it on me. Lay me on this.
I'm laying it on you.
Pulitzer Prize award-winning story of Mario.
So, after Super Mario Brothers 3, Mario and Luigi...
Super Mario Brothers 3.
After they save Princess Toadstool, they all decide to go to vacation in Dinosaur Land. Okay, so it's kind of like Jurassic Park.
They suck at choosing vacation spots, let's put it that way.
Yep. And then they're chilling on the beach, and then the princess disappears. So Mario and Luigi, they were asleep. That's what you do when you're on the beach, right? You take a nap. So the Mario brothers wake up, and they're like, "Oh shit, princess is gone." They search for her for a few hours, and then they find a huge egg. and the egg just happens to hatch when they go near it, and a young dinosaur named Yoshi comes out, and he tells them, hey, my friends have been kidnapped in eggs by the Koopas.
Dude, where did I miss? Apparently this story was somewhere in the game.
And Mario and Luigi are like, you know what? We'll save your brethrens. And they also realize that this Koopa is King Bowser. So they go on a quest to free all the Yoshis and kill them by dropping them in pits. And eventually...
That's the best way to free them.
Yep.
Free them from their existence.
And eventually save Princess Toadstool, as always.
I literally skipped through all the text as a kid, so if that was what he said, I am amazed.
This was on Wikipedia, so you can thank Wikipedia.
Thanks, Wikipedia.
Yeah, there's like a secret code. In Yoshi's house, which is where you start. Yes. There's like a little text box. If you press the secret code, it'll give you the actual 30-page.
Wait, really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. If you type in the Konami code,
yeah,
you have to play a game of Contra on the hardest difficulty, and then you'll unlock the secret story.
The cutscene mode of Super Mario.
The cutscene.
Where Kojima comes out and says, here's my movie.
Random blurb.
Mm-hmm.
Frustrating part about this game.
Yep.
When you get 100 stars and you get the minigame with the 8 blocks.
Yep.
9 blocks? Okay. I swear to God, I've never gotten all of them in a row. And it left me scarred as a child that I could never do all those. Even though I would jump, like, perfectly. Like, you'd sink because you'd hit the middle, right?
No, I hit the bottom left corner.
Okay, I would hit the middle, and I'd stand under on the bottom, and I would, like, time my jumps to, like, hit the same block, but I would never get all of them in the same spot. And along with that, with my least satisfying thing, the most satisfying thing. Can you guess what it is? It doesn't have to. It's very rare. There's only like 5 instances of this in the game, but it's so satisfying.
So it's not throwing Yoshi into a pit.
No, that can be done millions of times. It is the Switch Palaces, where you get to press the biggest button in the world.
It's
and
so
it feels
big.
So satisfying.
Start spewing blocks everywhere in the world.
Exactly. Spew the blocks everywhere. Also, that's a cool way, because I remember one of the Star Worlds had it where you had to get to all the Switch Palaces, because the floor was all the unlockable Switch things. Which was a little frustrating, because there were parts of the game where you're like, I really wish I had this thing. And then an interesting other thing was, I think it was the Blue Switch Palace? One of them. Where you find out that you can actually jump under all those blocks and they actually give items.
Yep.
So you'd like get like 1,000,000 feathers and you're like, I can't hold all these feathers.
Thanks, game.
Thanks, game.
Yeah, there were some very unique levels in this game, and even the levels where is not necessarily a Mario level or really well thought out and actually fun. Let's go into development. It was led by... Who do you think it was led by? Producer?
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yep. The man, the Shiggy man himself.
The Shiggy man himself.
But it was actually directed by Takashi Tezuka, which you may not know his name, but I will send you his Wikipedia page.
But now you're going to tell me he worked on like Star Fox and everything. Right?
Actually, no, don't click that. I will list the games so the listeners can know as well. He has he designed Super Mario Brothers. He directed
original.
Yep.
Oh my God.
He directed Super Mario Brothers 2. He directed Legend of Zelda. He directed Super Mario Brothers 3. A Link to the Past.
Wait. Let me ask a question. What was Miyamoto's role in this?
He's a producer.
And what's this guy?
Director.
I don't know what those roles entail, but okay.
He directed Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Yoshi's Island.
He seems to be Shiggy's right-hand man.
He seems to be kind of important. He also he was an assistant director to Super Mario 64. He supervised Star Fox 64. He produced Sunshine.
This guy's made some pretty famous games.
Yep. The Wind Waker, Minish Cap, Pikmin 2, Paper Mario, Animal Crossing, Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Does this guy still work there?
He has recently supervised The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay. He's a legend.
Yep.
Wait, this guy's like some top secret Nintendo guy.
Yeah, he's the secret weapon.
He's the... Shigeru Miyamoto's just a decoy.
Yeah.
This guy's the real brains behind the operation.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's a very, very smart man. And you can see that in the game. There's a lot of stuff that they polished from the previous games. You know what's funny though?
What's funny?
So the game took 3 years to make with 16 people. There were only 16 people on the team. 16 people?
Yep. The heck?
And Miyamoto at the end said he felt the game was incomplete. And
he says about all of his games.
And he was voicing hope that with time, the games would allow for more emotion and story.
Okay, well, to be honest, he never hit that goal in any Mario game ever.
Fun fact, this is the first time that Yoshi was in a Mario game.
Yes, it was. That is correct.
Yeah.
Our little dinosaur his humble beginnings.
But Yoshi was actually in the works since Super Mario Brothers. Miyamoto wanted him as a character, even in the very first one, but they couldn't because of the limitations of the NES.
Always Nintendo and their limitations of their hardware.
I mean, this is crazy, right? So if they have all these thoughts, I'm pretty sure they had the exact same problem with Super Mario Galaxy when it came out, right? Like they had these ideas a long time ago, and they just finally did it on the Wii. So imagine like what they're thinking of right now that they can't do. Who's the composer? You probably know the composer, right?
It's probably Koji Kondo. It's got to be Koji Kondo.
And you were saying how the music was fantastic and everything, right?
It was it is fantastic.
It is still fantastic, but the funny thing is, all the music in this game is made through just an electronic keyboard.
Time to buy one of those. And
all the music in the game is a variation on the same melody.
Maybe that's why it just gets like drilled into your head.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I even noticed it right now. Like, even when I read that, I wasn't like, oh, that makes sense. Everything still sounds very different to me.
Maybe that article lied.
Maybe.
Now I need to listen to it later.
Yeah, well, we should go back and listen to it. But, you know how in the Banjo-Kazooie episode we're talking about how they had adaptive music? You know, when you enter the water, things like that.
Yes.
Super Mario World actually did it way before, because the music changes when you ride Yoshi, right?
Yeah.
The bongo drums.
The music also changes when you're running out of time.
Oh, that's true.
And then it plays at like twice the speed.
To let you know, real anxiety.
Get your ass out there, man.
Especially when you're in a fucking ghost house.
How the fuck do I get out of here? I'm lost. Speaking of which, another cool element. I'm bringing up these random things, but that's kind of what I do. Bowser's Castle.
Yep.
Where there's like the numbers, and you're like, I'm gonna go through door 2, then I'm gonna go through 8 because I'm 28 or something. I don't know, something like that.
Yep.
And then I'm 6 and 9 and 69.
Oh yeah. I think it only goes to 8, but okay.
6 and 6, 66. But yeah, I always thought that was really cool how like every branching, I don't know if you want to call it branching paths, but different experience based on how you want to play the last one. And it adds quote unquote replayability, I guess.
Well, I mean, the whole game was structured like that, right? Like the world map kind of encouraged...
Twisted and turned, right?
Yeah, encourage exploration. It was not a singular path.
My favorite one is you saw a pipe, and you're like, how do I get to that pipe? and then you complete the level, and the game moves on. You're like, no, I want that pipe. I want that pipe.
And I think that's what they did really well, because up until, Mario 1, Mario 2 did not have Overworld map, obviously. Super Mario World 3 brought the Overworld map. But,
yes.
I mean, you couldn't really replay levels. The branching paths weren't that great, right?
Yeah.
And with this one, they kind of took it to the next level, where you had to play the same level twice, 3 times, to find the key or the secret exit.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, there were all these like little sprites everywhere that kind of nudged you towards, oh, maybe I fucked up,
Yeah. Do you remember the one troll thing? Second world.
Mm-hmm.
There was like that loop.
Oh yeah.
There was a loop. I think it was near like a ghost house.
No.
I think you'd go down and you'd loop in a circle and then just go to the same thing.
It was wasn't it in the forest? I think it was in the forest.
Was it in the forest? I don't remember. I know there was a loop at some point.
Yep.
One of the worst levels in that game, I think it was Ghost Ship. I hated Ghost Ship. Anything that had to do with ghosts, no.
I mean, Ghost Ship is the worst. It's like ghost and water.
That's true. That's like putting fire and bombs together. It's bad.
Oh God. I mean, so the map was not the only new thing. Like, this was the first time that Mario could spin jump.
Ah, yes. It's true.
And this was the first time Mario had an inventory. Although it was a very, very limited inventory.
Inventory in quotation marks. He could carry one item.
It's like
and then it would
Tetris
slowly
hold.
drop. Yeah, it's like a Tetris hold.
But I mean, this was kind of like, they didn't bring anything really revolutionary in the actual platforming game.
Yeah.
But there were all these little extra bells and whistles they brought in that kind of made the experience more fun.
An interesting thing is, I think the unit variety was also the enemy variety was great in this game too.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like they had like your classic, they had your their Koopas and your Goombas. They also had. I love it when you're in like the second level or like the third level, and the huge bullet bill comes, and you have to duck in that little thing or jump over it if you're pro.
The bonsai bill.
The bonsai bill, yeah, and then there's the charging chucks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, those things scared me when I was a child.
The sumo dudes who like shoot the lava up and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of variations. Like even charging Chuck, there was the one that threw baseballs at you.
Yeah.
I
never understood that one.
Yeah.
the football one too.
They're just having fun.
Like, okay. They're on vacation too, right?
Yeah, it's Dinosaur Land, guys.
It's Dinosaur Land. I also like the bosses, how they all had their own little twist on them, and how they're all like the family, right?
Mm-hmm. The family. The Koopalings.
The Koopalings, yep.
Which, I mean, they showed up in Mario 3, but I think this was the first time where they were kind of really...
They had their personality, too. They had personality.
Yeah, like Iggy, which is my favorite.
Really?
He's the first one, so that's why I remember his name. I don't remember anyone else.
It's all about
Morton?
Lenny. He's the
Iggy and Morton.
Yeah, Morton, Lenny, Wendy.
Oh, I remember Wendy. She always comes out of the fucking pipes, right?
I don't remember the boss fight specific, but she's the last one before you fight Bowser.
It's like a bunch of pipes, and like Wendy comes up and 2 decoys come up, and you have to hit the right one.
Oh, maybe that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good game.
Mm-hmm.
What other points you got? You got any more points?
Oh, I got lots of points. So Super Mario World. Do you know how many copies it eventually ended up selling?
Dude, I have no idea, but if it was for the SNES, I don't pay attention to sales figure. I'm gonna say like 20 million.
Holy fuck! Okay, it sold 20 million copies worldwide.
I don't pay attention to sales that much.
No.
Guesses it on the dot.
Mm-hmm. This is actually funny. So, the game obviously got re-released many times. What's interesting is it got re-released on the same fucking system. Because it came out in
really?
Super Mario All-Stars.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
I remember the Game Boy Advance version also had the mini games built in, like the I forget what it's called. There's essentially like the map where it's like the two pipes on the left and the right, and then there's like the 3 levels, and you have to like jump underneath the enemies, and you have to knock them out. I forget what it's called.
Mario Brothers.
Yeah, maybe it's just called Mario Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it is Mario Brothers. It's like the arcade game, right?
Yeah, the arcade game. Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
And it also came out on the Wii, the Wii U, new Nintendo 3DS. I mean, I've played it many, many times. And actually, a big part of it was back in the early 2000s. Do you remember Kaizo Mario World?
I do. Is that the Japanese one that was like impossible?
Yeah, it's like the ROM hack.
Yeah.
ROM hacks are actually a really big thing with Super Mario World. There's like a huge community, and they have like yearly contests of who can make the best ROM hack. I think that's kind of like, made the longevity of the game much, much longer than the developers, kind of estimated at the very beginning.
I know that this is also a popular game when it comes to tasks and breaking the game and like writing code.
Yep.
This game's pretty popular. Speaking of which, the speedruns for this game and the shell trick, you know that one?
What is the shell trick?
It's like a 6-minute speedrun of the game, and it's on the first level, and you kick around shells, and you kill enemies, and you hit things, and you leave shells in certain spots to write memory to the game. To write to the game's memory, and then it skips you to the very end of the game, like the credits.
What the fuck?
And it was amazing when the first player did it without the use of a task thing. And some guy, it's like 6 minutes of everything has to be like pixel perfect, where you like knock it and everything. You should see it later. I'll show you later.
I'll link it in the description as well. So, I was talking about this before at the beginning, but this was kind of like the beginning-ish of the Sega-Nintendo war. I read a book that came out a while ago, I think. It's called Console Wars, and it's like a 600-page story on kind of how the Sega Master Drive and Genesis were against the SNES. And it's very interesting. And like I said at the beginning, I was a fan of Sonic. It was super cool. And I feel like Nintendo... So like Sega was stealing kind of Nintendo's share of the pie at this point, right? And I also mentioned before that Miyamoto felt the game was incomplete, all that. So I think this was the last time that Nintendo kind of rushed to make a Mario game.
Even though this game took 3 years to make?
No, because between this one and Mario 64, it was a 6-year development cycle.
Oh, it's true. But that makes sense.
I guess so.
But the jump from 2D to 3D.
But I think Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine was another 6-7 years. So, I mean, I think Nintendo learned their lesson in, this was supposed to be a launch game, so there was some pressure to get it out really quickly. But after that, they started taking their time. Galaxy was definitely not a launch title. You can, like, Super Mario Odyssey is not coming out for a while.
I think, if I recall, oh no, never mind. We came out in the holiday season, I think. Yeah. So, I don't think. When's the last time... Oh, I guess it was the Wii U. I'm trying to think of the last time a Mario released as a launch title. Was it Super Mario 3D World? Nintendo hasn't launched with a Mario title since 64?
Since 64.
64, yeah.
So I feel like they're giving it the respect it deserves, instead of kind of trying to always bundle it as,
Anyway, this one's coming out. The 3D World came out in November 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Odyssey's coming out holiday 2017. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
So that's 4 years. Like, it's always longer than that 3 years.
Yep.
And then, I mean, kind of hating on other companies. People are like, why are Nintendo games always so good? Well, because they take their time to make games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Zelda was 6 years, so, I mean, they take a long time to make their games.
I feel like, Nintendo's in a position where they have so many IPs that they can cycle through them, and it kind of feels like Nintendo's always releasing games. But if you think about it, there's like a long stretch between two games in the same series.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm trying to think of just one that releases the most. And I mean,
Sonic versus Mario.
Sometimes you think it's really soon just because the characters in the games are the same. Like, you'll see Mario in a lot of games, but...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also it's kind of like they have the handhelds, right, versus the console releases, which are most of the time two different ballparks.
Mm-hmm. I would say Pokemon releases the most frequent.
Yeah, every 2 to 3 years, I would say.
Yeah. Should we do final thoughts then?
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts.
Right. Probably the best 2D platformer there is. Uncontested. Even above the other Mario games.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it had this sense of exploration in a 2D platformer game that had not been done before.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of this feeling of adventure that kind of sets it apart from all the other ones. It's a game that any age could enjoy, which, I mean, it's a lot of the Mario games in general, but I feel like this one especially so. And I just feel like it had the perfect combination of visual and auditory aesthetics that just make it a blast to play and a blast to even watch others play. That just makes it a fun game for everyone. Because Team Luigi is the best.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna echo most of your thoughts. I feel like this is, when...
Oh, and Yoshi. Sorry. He's there too, which makes it fun.
Yeah, throw him out. Throw him into the pit.
Throw him out. God.
I feel like this is when Nintendo kind of started going towards, polishing towards perfection instead of innovating towards perfection. Like, this is what we see with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They don't add something necessarily new, but they just make it really, really good. There's no weak spots in any spots. So it's one of the best platform games ever, like Albert said. I've grown to love it better than the others. And I honestly don't think we're going to get anything of this caliber ever again. So
I wanted to add one more final thought.
Okay.
This is probably the game that played today does not feel like it is aged at all in terms of clunkiness at all.
Completely agree.
Like, if I were to compare this game to Super Mario 64, those controls are still pretty tight, but when it comes to camera and all of that, it's really clunky. This game does not feel clunky at all.
Yep.
In fact, I would say compared to some platformers nowadays that are like handheld, like 2D, it controls better than those. And this game is 28 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I mean, Nintendo's, I would say, they're fairly good at making games that don't age that much.
They're fairly good at making platformers too.
Oh yeah, I Kirby game, please? Question mark.
By the way, did you know? I'm just looking at the Wikipedia article. It is Super Mario Bros. 4 for its Japanese release.
Yes, which is, I guess, understandable. But I like Super Mario World better. It feels like a world.
It is a world. It needs a new prefix for a new sort of game.
Ultra Mario World. Ultra Mario Brothers. That sounds like a fighting game.
Ultra, where they fight the Mario Brothers are fighting each other
to the death. If you want to help out with any of the logo, music, artwork for our podcast, please feel free to reach out. You can just message us on Twitter, which is it's podcast TRC, and on Instagram, which is also podcast TRC, or message us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/TRC podcast. We're always looking for help. We might even be able to make a deal. I don't know. Hopefully it's just for free.
We can give you some cred.
We'll give you some cred. Yeah. We'll drop your name on the streets.
We'll drop your like Yoshi.
Like Yoshi.
We'll also give you some shout out in the podcast.
Holy fuck.
And we'll drive a racing car right next to your house to let you know our gratitude. You'll know it's us because of...
Yeah, but other than that, thanks for listening. Make sure to share this with your friends if you think this is fun, quite informative, enjoyable.
I said as a question, it's a statement.
I don't know. I don't know what we're trying to be.
This is fun.
But as always, you can check us out
you
on...
said that like you're like a prisoner. This is fun.
Please help. Save me. If you take all the first letters of the words I said in this episode, it says
you'll get the secret
me.
message. You'll get the secret message.
But as always, you can check us out on iTunes, Google Play, Pocket Casts. What else do we? Stitcher, and all your favorite podcast directories. Podbean. Thanks to our hosts. But yeah, this has been episode 5, and I've been one of your hosts, Tristan Jung.
And I've been your other host, Albert Corsten.
And as always,
Mario's not feeling it.